Well, we've got something a little bit different again. Similar type of shape of body, but double cutaway type of instrument, neck through. We've actually got a core, or a main part of the actual neck and so forth, being wenge or wenge, depending on how you want to say that. We've got a block in the back here of of maple, and we've got American black walnut in through here. We've got hard maple in through here, and highly figured softer maple on the top there. So it's a real amalgam of a few different types.
Would that be quilted maple, would you call that?
No, that one is actually just a stripy fiddleback type of maple. The quilted one, the other bass that we featured before, had a bit more of a quilt going on in the top of it. Highly figured, this sort of stuff here. It's not, this maple isn't quite as hard and as dense as the American rock maple. It's a bit softer to actually sort of work with and so forth. But it's a really interesting, I should say it's actually an ebony fretboard on this thing as well. I was expecting a brighter sound out of it, but what has actually happened with the core materials and so forth, it's actually thrown the sound of this bass more into a darker, really rich, complex sort of sound. And I've had a few people plug this one in and go, wow, this one's got a magic sound. What's going on with this thing? And your eyes lit up when you plugged this one in the first time as well, and you sort of said, hello, this is the one I like. This is the one that's got that sound to it. We've got Nordstrand humbuckers in here. They'll be on Nico 5 pickups. You've got
same as what was in the other one?
No, the other one's Seymour Duncan.
Oh, sorry, Seymour Duncan.
Yeah, Seymour Duncan. So I've gone to Nordstrand. What I actually do with a lot of my production basses, I actually use a P2 style pickup route, so I can put lots of different types of makes. If somebody came along and said, no, I don't want to know about Nordstrand, I want to know about Aguilar, or I want to know about
it's whatever. Standardised.
It's a really standardised. Fortunately, they've got together and said, yeah, that's a standardised shape and sound. So they've got a slightly different sort of sound to the NYCs, the Seymour Duncan thing. Glock and Clang preamp, 3-band, so that's identical as before, but it comes across as a way more complex, dark sort of sounding instrument.
Is this what Warwick use?
They use that a lot, and also on their fretboards as well.
This is a nicer feel than a lot of the Warwick ones. The Warwick ones often aren't very finished. Yeah,
they've often they might even have raw in some instances as well, because you can get away with that particular type of timber. Right. You can just do a wax type finish on them and so forth. That's been nitro lacquered as the other. Actually, I finish all of my instruments with nitro, so nitrocellulose lacquer. The grain has been filled a little bit before the painting as well. It still shows you, and even on the back of the neck, it still shows you a little bit of open grainness. The theory behind that is that because it is a bit more open grained, it's not as grippy on the fingers. So, and it's a really interesting material. It's a really hard material to work. It smells awful to machine. It's got the worst stink to it, and anybody that's ever worked with that type of material they'll nod and be going, well, yeah, I know what they're talking about. It's not a pleasant smell. Some timbers have a beautiful smell when you work them, and others are just shocking, and that's in the shocking range of things. But it does sound good. And in this instance, it came up as a big, lovely, warm sound.
Nice and even, deep.
Again, chords work really nicely on this thing. Great access in behind as well. With you can get right up to the top there. The neck construction, as probably mentioned before, 35-inch scale, just a single action. It's a single truss rod, double action type of thing, and there is graphite in this neck as well, just to even things out a little bit. Spacing, width. 47, I think, on that, and 18 at the other end there. Yeah,
Very
so
nice.
Goto tuners,
Yeah.
this sort of instance, and Hipshot A-style bridge, the good
Cool.
old go-to for many of us builders.
The
They're a
reason-
great bridge.
Is the reason why you surface mount your jack?
Yeah, no, there is. That's a very good thing, because I
is.
had someone ask me about that the other day, and yes, you can put the jack off the side there, and depending on where you mount it around the back there, and I can do this for people if they want that sort of thing as well, but where you mount it around the back there can sometimes interfere with either putting it into a rack, so you go and put it onto a stand and it's got the jacks, the actual plug sitting out the side.
That's why I use this Hercules stand with where it catches at the top.
Yeah, so it doesn't want to fall out. Or if you come around too far, when you go and sit, and you might be practicing or sitting on the couch practicing, and it digs into the couch. And it's like, oh man, either way, I can't. When you're standing up, of course, it's not a problem at all. But so it's all the other times that's always a problem. So as Fender did, you think about with Leo Fender and his production. Surely there's other versions than this, but really the Telecaster was about the only thing that he bothered to put a thing on the side, and everything else after that was top mounted. And you think of P-bass, jazz basses, Stratocasters are in at a funny angle on the top there, and all that sort of stuff. They're all mainly top mounted sort of thing.
Personally, I prefer side mount.
Yeah.
Because this.
It's kind of, you feel like you're going to knock it.
It feels, yes.
Yeah.
Unless you get your right angle jack.
Yes.
Cable. But even with side mount, I use right angle jack.
You do,
and flush.
Tuck it in and around, and negates that sort of.
Yeah, and my F bass is front loading as well, so I've got the right angle jack here, and it keeps it nice and flush. You don't feel
Yeah. So I was thinking about that, and I've had a few people sort of want various things, side mounting, and because you can get lovely side mounting units that are really quite brilliant things. There's a unit called an Electra socket that. Doesn't pull out, doesn't come apart. It's one of those really good sort of things. And side mounting can be a bit of an issue with that type of thing, because they get a bit of damage and so forth.
Yeah.
So that when I do side mounting, I do use those types of units. But top mounting at the moment for that as a standard type of thing. But it's certainly that when people order things, that they can choose to come in through the side there if they want to.
Cool, very nice.